Welcome, and thanks for joining us today for our 28th episode of the Restaurant Dealmaker Show, where we discuss pertinent topics regarding the food and beverage industry with industry professionals. My guest co-host today is Donna Seymour, who is an experienced restaurateur and former client. My first encounter with Donna was in 1998 when I sold her a restaurant in San Anselmo at the San Anselmo Inn in San Anselmo, which is in Marin County, which he converted into Cucina. SA, which stands for San Anselmo. It's important you say the SA because there are other restaurants with the name of Cucina, fortunately not in Marin County, though. After approximately 5 years in that original location, she outgrew that space, and so I sold her the restaurant across the street, where she has been since that time. And Cucina has been a very warm, cozy, and delicious way to spend time with family and friends. The full bar features specialty drinks, the wood-fired pizza oven, and specialty Southern Italian dishes. Has set itself as one of the most popular community restaurants in Marin County. Donna believes in a strong sense of community, and her involvement in many community activities involves giving of her time to many various school and nonprofit organizations, as well as donating money and food to many community organizations. Her restaurant has become a major community gathering place as a result of her passion for providing excellent food and service to her guests, and Cucina reflects Donna's personality, which we will discuss in more detail during her discussion. So without further ado, please welcome Donna as our co-host. So Donna, please tell us how you got started in the restaurant industry.
Good morning, Steve. Hi. So I started in restaurants when I was finishing school. I grew up in Napa Valley and went to UC Davis and had studied my junior year abroad in Italy, in Florence, and was very interested in all things Italian. Started working in restaurants as I was just finishing my last semester and really enjoyed myself. I started working at Main Chandon in Yountville and worked first in the tasting room and then got to be very good friends with the manager of the restaurant. At that time, it was a 4-star restaurant, very fancy, high-end, white tablecloth, etc., waiters in tuxedos. And I became Daniel's assistant manager. So I booked all of the group reservations and tours that were coming through. So that's how I started.
That's great. That's a terrific start in the business, for sure. So service to the community has been a big part of your life. And could you please tell us how you're involved in serving the community and how Cucina has become such an important part of the San Anselmo community and the Marin community in general?
Yeah, well, originally I was working in restaurants in the city, San Francisco, and became pregnant with my first child and wanted to move somewhere a little more in the country. I grew up in Napa, like I said, and wanted more of a rural environment for my children, for my families. We moved to San Anselmo, we looked at different locations, and we just loved the town, fell in love with it. It's a small town community, really cute little downtown area. So my kids grew up here. They went to Wade Thomas School. I was very involved in the school physically. I was room parent. I drove on all the field trips. I just really loved being part of the community and meeting everyone that lived here. And it's a very tight-knit community. Everybody's very supportive of each other. And I really wanted my restaurant to reflect that and be a part of that. So I donate to schools, whether they're doing fundraisers or if they're actually doing physical in-person events and they need food donated or gift certificates, all that kind of thing. I did a lot of teacher luncheons, going into the school with another room parent and cooking lunches for the teachers. So just in every way that I could kind of really support the people that were working here and, spread the love and really just feel connected. It was very important to me.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So what gives you the most satisfaction in operating Cucina?
Definitely the personal one-on-one, just knowing my customers and watching their families grow. I've had customers since I've had Cucina for 25 years, we're moving on to our 26th year. I know couples who got engaged at Cucina and they're married now and they bring in their children. I've watched other families with little children who are now in college asking me for jobs, the whole thing. It's really just the arc of life and watching families stay and grow and continue to grow. And it's kind of a joke that all of the kids that I knew when they were 5 and 6 and 7 are now asking me for jobs, which is kind of, I love it. I mean, a lot of the kids that I've known in this community have come through the doors of Cucina, and it's been a great experience. Their parents love it. I feel like it's really important for people to work in the service industry at some point in your life. It's a great life experience of dealing with people one-on-one, solving problems, multitasking, all of those things. That's what restaurant business is.
Absolutely.
And it's a great life experience.
Yeah, I mean, so grateful. But before my father had let me start working in the restaurants, my family had a chain of restaurants. And, he said, listen, I want you to really appreciate washing dishes and cleaning toilets. So I think it would be a good idea for you to work for someone else. And this is when I was 13 years old. The story is that I was in Boy Scouts. I wanted to go to Jamboree, which is like an international camping adventure where scouts from all over the world come together. And at that time, I said, Dad, could you pay for me to go to this thing? He says, I think it'd be a great experience, but I think you should earn the money yourself. Your cousin owns a gas station, so maybe you should get a job there, just working on Saturdays. I really appreciated being about my 15th birthday to start washing dishes and cleaning toilets in the restaurant versus, I went from axle grease to kitchen grease, so I really did appreciate having, roof over my head, being with employees, being part of a team, eating all I wanted to. And so, no, I hear you. I think it's a great experience to, have the service orientation early in your life. It really gives you an added dimension in terms of appreciation and work ethic, and just it's so meaningful. So I'm sorry, I got a little carried away there.
No,
I get a kick telling my story.
it's very true. I mean, it is a life experience, and you really see firsthand how people behave. It's a very great lesson early on how not to behave.
Yes.
In a way, because you're seeing people at their worst and at their best, and it's an eye-opening experience for sure.
Yeah. So being in a small community like San Anselmo, which is a bedroom community for those people that aren't familiar with San Anselmo, is it difficult to find employees? Because I know from my own experience operating restaurants in Marin, it's always very difficult to find, especially back of the house employees. How do you handle those challenges?
Yeah, it's definitely more difficult than staffing a restaurant in San Francisco. I do have experience with my ex-husband's restaurants in the city, and I worked at a lot of different restaurants in the city. And there's just a larger pool of people in the service industry. Marin County is a little trickier. We've had a lot of luck getting good staff, and we need a very kind of specific person if they're in front of house, because it's a team effort. We pull tips. We just really structure it as a family. The same with the kitchen. I have people who've been with me 10, 12, 14, 18 years, but it's been very challenging since COVID. It's been more challenging in particular since then, I would say, because I think a lot of people left the service industry to take construction jobs or other things, but we're definitely pooling from a smaller group of people. Yes. And the options aren't there as readily as being in the city, for example.
Sure. So as a result of this added challenge, have you had to adjust your days and hours of operation? How's that filtered down to your day-to-day operations?
No, not really. We just keep looking for the right people and finding the right team members. And we've actually expanded our hours. We started out as dinner only. About 4 years ago, we added lunches. Now we're doing brunch as well on the weekends. We're doing happy hour Tuesday through Friday. So we've really expanded everything. We still are closed on Mondays because everybody needs a break. I mean, I've just always approached it by going forward and really trying to find the right people to join the team and really support them so they feel appreciated. And I think that's one of the reasons I have longevity with my staff.
Sure. So if you were advising a younger person who was starting out in the hospitality business and they were considering making the hospitality business a career, what advice would you give this person? I'm sure you probably encountered these kind of people, and what have you told them, basically?
I would definitely encourage them to start working in different levels in the service industry just to see what's a good fit for them, make sure it does work for them personally. I've encountered people that probably shouldn't be in this industry. They just don't have the fortitude for it, or you have to be very even keel. You have to put a smile on your face, even if you're upset with the interaction with the customer. You can't be hot tempered. It takes the right kind of person to be involved in the service industry. And if you like it and you love it, and I found that for myself personally, when I was younger, I was doing corporate jobs. I was doing the 9 to 5s. I worked as a temp in the city, and it just wasn't for me. I really loved the flexibility of having a restaurant job and being able to go anywhere I wanted to go. And so it suited my needs. And I just really tell that to younger people to make sure that it suits what you're looking for in your life, because work is a large part of your life and it should be something you enjoy.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously as humans, we all have, good days and bad days, but
Mhm.
you have a bad day and you got to put a happy smile on your face. What sort of psychology or what methods do you use in order to, get through that bad feeling that you may have and just be positive with interacting with your staff and customers? How do you do that? Is there some science to it, or do you have a system on how you deal
I,
with that?
I don't know if there's a science to it, but I think over the years, I've kind of developed the mentality, and I tell this to especially younger staff, people coming on board. I said, your interaction with this person is going to be an hour and a half. It's not your entire day.
Right.
You can turn it around and make it positive. And if you can't, if they're just in such a mood that you just can't seem to do things right, either turn that table over to somebody else or just cope with it and realize that you have the ability to maybe change how their day is gone, maybe change the trajectory of their day. Because, sometimes people come into a restaurant, and this, Steve, they come in, they've had a long day, they've just struggled through traffic, something went down, something went bad. And, the host person, I always tell this to my hosts, you're the first line of defense. They walk in and you are blocking them from what they want. They want a table and they want to sit down right now.
Sure.
And so you have to really be grateful and gracious and let them know I'll be with you as soon as I can, or there's a small wait. However, you can do that the best way to kind of welcome them, embrace them, let them feel that you're going to be taken care of here and you're going to be okay. And yes, you're spending an hour and a half with us, 2 hours, but we could all make it a great experience. And again, just the larger picture in life, like, wouldn't you rather just have a wonderful dining experience and relax and hang out with your friends and have a fun cocktail and try something you might not have tried before and just really turn it into a positive experience?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I would assume that most of your customers are regular customers, and they basically are drawn from a certain radius of your site. So obviously that basically makes you more aware of the fact that you've got to be so consistent on quality and service and cleanliness and everything else. It's not, you don't have the advantage of being in a location where you have a lot of tourists coming in, et cetera.
Absolutely.
So you got to make these people happy consistently all the time. I mean, because they're your bread and butter, right? You don't, am I missing something? Is that pretty much your target customer base?
Totally spot on. Absolutely. I mean, we've been here going on 26 years. We have regulars that come in twice a week. We have regulars that come in 3 times a week. We have regulars that come in once a month, but it has to be consistent. And I put a lot of energy and effort into my kitchen staff to make sure they're happy, they're well paid, they feel appreciated. I have a wonderful chef who's been with me for 10 years now. And it trickles all the way down. You want the dishwashers to be appreciated. We tip out all the kitchen people at the end of the night, tell them great job. And if we have a particularly stressful night, they get tipped more. I mean, everybody likes to feel appreciated at their job. And I feel very strongly that it's incredibly important that everyone feels appreciated and valued and that they're an important part of the team. Consistency is hugely important.
Yes,
Hugely
absolutely.
important.
You mentioned briefly the COVID challenge, but I mean specifically, how did you regroup during that time frame and actually come out stronger as a result of COVID? From my understanding of how you basically structured your business.
Yeah, it was like to everyone in the industry, it was a huge challenge. And we actually did a really quick pivot. We started bottling cocktails. So even though we had been open since 1998, we had been in our newer location since 2003. And I had just acquired a bar space, broken through, built out a whole new bar at great expense, of course. So I was very worried about that. And then right when that was January of COVID, first year of COVID, and March we shut down. So we had to be really creative and think what we could do. We started bottling cocktails, put cute little labels on them, sealed them. We had tables full of wine that were all $15 a bottle. We went directly to takeout only. We did delivery for a little while, but that was really tricky for us to do. I don't really believe in third-party delivery services. I don't think they're value driven for the customer, but we did everything we could. And we actually went from 6 days of business to 7 days a week. And I kept my entire staff, 38 people, fully employed through the whole time of COVID. And it was a challenge, but I think it brought us closer together. It also helped us realize that we could do other things that we weren't comfortable with. I mean, before that, we hardly did any takeout. It was really only dine in.
Right.
Now we still do, even now, this much later, we're still doing about 15% of our business in takeout.
That's great.
So it's something that will always stay. It's now part of our business.
Yeah,
But,
as is the outdoor seating, right? That's
yes.
become a permanent part of your operation. You didn't have outdoor seating before COVID, right?
We did not. We did have we have a bridge on the side of the restaurant. We did have we had just 3 picnic tables, not really much at all, because we're in Marin and a lot of people like to bring their dogs down.
Sure.
So we had just a few tables out there, but town allowed me to expand that. So I have about 12 tables out on the bridge. And then of course, building a parklet was huge.
Yes.
Because we were, the first year of COVID, it was like, okay, takeout only. Okay, you can have dining, but it has to be outdoors and then indoors. And then it was outdoors again. So the parklet was significant to us. And I fought very hard to keep it in our town.
And is the city committed to keeping parklets indefinitely?
They are. Yes.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. That's so nice to have that outdoor seating area.
People love it. I mean, we're in Marin County, San Anselmo. The weather's gorgeous.
Oh, it is.
We have a little bit of cold weather in the winter. The rains are not terrible. So it's really enjoyed year round. And the parklet just gives our downtown a more European feel. Everybody's outside. They're walking their children. They're walking their dogs. It's just much more community driven, I think. Yes. And it just feels good.
It does very much.
Yeah.
So. And it attracts more people when they see people, people that maybe are newbies in the area, and they see people sitting outside. It's more of a anchor or a draw for people to say, "There's Cucina, let's try it." I guess that doesn't hurt.
Right, absolutely. And we do it. People see their neighbors. They'll see people they haven't seen in a long time. We do draw mainly from Marin County, but we'll draw people from the East Bay and San Francisco. But we get people still that have never been here before after 25 years. And then we have the Live on the Avenue program that we run in the summer with the town of San Anselmo, when we actually close off the street for walking. And so no cars are allowed. And it's a wonderful scene. We get hundreds, if not thousands of people a weekend. And there's live music in front of our restaurant at the town park. There's bigger bands down the street at the Creek Park. A lot of the businesses stay open later. It's fun. People bring out picnics. They stroll with their dogs. Their kids are on scooters. It's a wonderful event.
So is that a one-time event, or is that all summer long?
We do it every summer. This will be our 4th summer. We started slow, and we've kind of learned as we've gone, but it's super popular, and it's just wonderful, again, with the wonderful seasons that we have. I mean, we could even do it longer, but we budget it to raise money. You can go on the town of San Anselmo's website to donate money, and it helps us get great bands in. And it's just, the music's all free. We set up an outdoor bar. We do takeout food. So people don't have to dine in restaurants. They can bring down a picnic blanket and set up with their kids, and the kids can run around and everybody's safe. It's a great.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, Donna, obviously you have a lot of varied expertise handling people psychology and dealing with people, and operational and expertise and understanding, good food and service, etc. So from your perspective, what are your strongest areas of expertise, and how do you use these strengths to overcome the major challenges of the day-to-day operations of the business?
I like to work hard. I've run the restaurant for 25 years, and this is the first year I've had a manager, and it's been a wonderful relief on me. But
where did you get this work ethic from?
I guess I would say my parents, but I started working in restaurants, and my first job was at 15. growing up in Napa, I worked at Vintage 1870. I worked in the candy store, and then I moved to a clothing store, and then I worked at a restaurant there. And I've just always enjoyed the interaction. And it's funny because I'm kind of an introvert. I'm not a super extroverted person, but I find that it pushes me a little bit outside of my comfort level. And it just helps me really deal with people and society at large. And I just, I go home and I have my downtime, which is needed to recuperate and recharge the batteries. But
Sure.
I just really enjoy the interaction of helping people, being with people, and watching people have a great time and helping them have that experience.
Yes. Well, it certainly is reflective in the way that Cucina, presents itself to the public, the great, attitudes of the customers, the consistently good food and service, and, well-maintained decor. So it obviously all emanates from you and your philosophy. So the hospitality industry has been going through many challenges, especially in California. The current economic challenges that we face today, the shortage of employees, the high operating costs of labor, merchandise, product, cost of goods, occupancy, and other expenses. How are you dealing with, absorbing these costs, or, still trying while still trying to maintain price value for your customer? How you handling all these challenges?
Well, in my particular circumstance, although we're in Marin County, we're not Mill Valley or Sausalito or Tiburon. I think the prices are a lot higher there. I'm very sensitive to what my community is comfortable with. And so we don't really raise our prices. I've seen other restaurants raise their prices significantly in the last 2 years, just because, as you're discussing, price of goods have gone up 30 to 50%. A case of avocados used to cost you $30 and now they cost you 85. I mean, they're huge increases in costs. And I just cannot push that along to my customer. That's not who my customer base is. And I don't want to do that either. So I think that's how we've managed, by increasing what we offer, offering the full bar, offering happy hour, doing brunch on the weekends, just trying to give more options to people. You can come in and just have a drink and a nibble at happy hour. You can stay for a full dinner. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour dinner with wine and cocktails and the whole bit. I just try to be more flexible for the customers so that we can continue to be busy.
Right. And so you basically increased your operating. So you've basically become more aggressive in the way you've approached the operations of the business, expanding your product line, expanding your hours and your meal periods. And so that has basically given you the ability to increase sales, to deal with increased costs and still being able to maintain reasonable margins, I guess.
Yeah, for me, that's true. I mean, I understand. And if I were in a different location, I would have other options, but to me, this is the most reasonable option. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's a interesting way of approaching it, for sure. And so you're finding yourself where you must have to raise your prices to some extent. I mean, everybody is. It's going crazy. I think even In-N-Out just announced July 1 their lowest price meal package is like $10 from substantially lower than that. So, but so I think most customers are psyched. They don't like it, but they just they expect, I think, prices to go up because everything is going up. So you're certainly entitled to raise your prices, and I'm sure you have to some extent, but I guess not to the extent that perhaps others, for the reasons that you've indicated.
Yeah. I mean, we do it slowly as is necessary, of course.
Yes.
I do think that the customer is more aware, because they go to the grocery store too, and they see that the price of beef is a lot higher than it used to be, or dozen eggs or milk. So the recognition and the awareness is there, I think, with customers. And I try to roll out any kind of price increases as slowly and as little as possible. But you're right. At some point you have to, or you're losing money.
Yes. So you're still functioning as the GM in the restaurant, is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
And so in order to have more of a family lifestyle, you've restructured your scope of responsibilities to some extent in a recent period of time. Is that the case, or are you still hands-on, like full-time, day to night, or how have you been able to balance your time so you can have more balance between your family and business life, so to speak?
Sure. Well, I was a few years back, I was kind of experiencing some burnout. I have 4 children at home, not any longer, they're all in college, but I did have 4 kids at home, and really felt the pull of just not having a good life balance and not having enough personal time. Really started the conversation in my mind to get a manager on board. It took me a while to find the right person. Again, I'm not a chain restaurant. I'm a very brand focused, it's Donna's face kind of thing, and so it took me a while to find somebody, but I found a wonderful manager, and uh,
Wonderful.
he's really just given me a lot more life balance and taken some of those burdens off me, that I'm not panicky and running and having to fix everything all the time. I still take a lot of those responsibilities, but having someone to share that burden with has been a tremendous, wonderful experience.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I
Yeah.
hope it continues uh, for you. That's good to hear. So what are your plans for the future of Cucina?
Very good question. I've tried to talk my 4 children into taking it over, and they seem to have no interest whatsoever because they see how hard I work. They're moving in different directions, but that's fine. To me, it's such a part of San Anselmo's community since we've been here so long. I would love to. I'm not done. I'm going to continue working for a number of years, but at some point, I would love to find somebody in the community that just wants to continue what we've started.
Sure.
Whether that was, employees that want to buy into it or take it over, or someone local who understands and appreciates how we're connected to the community. Things like that would be good for me. I think it would make me feel good about handing over the reins at some point.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, good luck with that. So if anyone would like to get in touch with you, Donna, what is the best way for someone to get in touch with you?
I'm at the restaurant at least 4 nights a week. I'm often there during the day, but you can always email me at Cucina's website, cucina-sa.com. You can call the restaurant directly. We've got a great website. You can reach out and
What's
stop.
the web address?
Sorry?
What's the website address again?
Cucina-sa.com.
Great. Okay, wonderful. All right.
And stop in and say hello. Introduce yourself. If you're new to the area, you're new to town, we'd love to welcome you in and have you be part of our community.
For sure. So Donna, I want to acknowledge you for the contributions you have made to your community, for your operational and financial support, not only to the schools in your community, but to your outreach into many of the other Marin County city schools. Your time and food contributions to all these schools, as well as your support to some volunteer organizations that support seniors and others in need, such as Extra Food and Lighthouse, have helped so many in need. Your life serves as a role model, as a devoted mother, a wife, successful business person, and a committed human being to improving the world through your community service. So we thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
It's my pleasure. Also, I want to thank you for the informative presentation, and best wishes for continued success. And if you have any questions from this presentation that haven't been answered by Donna, please email them to me at steve@restaurantrealty.com, and I will respond to you shortly after the show. Just a brief announcement of our future Dealmaker co-hosts. In July, we have Ike Shahada, the founder of Ike Sandwiches, with almost 100 locations in California, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, Texas, and Utah. In August, we have Vivian Borges and Keith Simpson, one of our top agents, will be a co-host with me and Vivian. He recently sold Paris Bakery in Monterey and their wholesale operation in Seaside. Additionally, Joey Altman, who is a very well-known chef, restaurateur, teacher, and television host. And he's currently the culinary director and executive chef of Hazy's and Brixton, San Francisco, will be a future speaker. Brandon Robinson is the CEO of Tipsy Putt, which is a Northern California multi-unit chain of multi-putt golf courses with pubs, and he was the founder of Soul Med Spa. Scott Greenberg, he was a former multi-unit franchisee of Edible Arrangements and is a keynote speaker and author of The Shift Show and The Wealthy Franchisee. So I want to thank you all for joining us. And again, Donna, thank you for the very nice presentation. And again, if you want to get in touch with me, it's steve@restaurantrealty.com, or you can reach me at 888-995-9701. So take care of yourself, take care of others, and stay well. Again, Donna, thank you. Take care.
Steve. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.